What's up, everybody? Brian Engelman here at 2017 NAMM, Anaheim, California. So we got Biohazard embracing Nick over here with Marshall. Marshall obviously does all the all of the guitar amplifiers, if you will. And so everybody's kind of hanging out, saying hello, having a good time. I'm here with Nick. Nick, thank you for taking a few moments out of your day. Talk to us about Marshall. I have some Marshall in my gear, obviously. So talk about like the newest stuff and what you guys have going on here for the show.
Yeah, excuse the noise, this is NAMM. It's like Disneyland, but with more cartoon characters. But the ugly goddamn cartoon characters here.
Wait a second. Just pan over. We got the guys from Biohazard over here, right?
Cool. Those aren't cartoon characters, they're rock stars. They're cool.
They're legitimate rock star cartoon characters. This is NAMM. You got Biohazard over here, and you got Nick talking about the gear. Life is good.
But some of these other people, whoa.
Yeah, I'll pass on half of these cats.
A special padded van comes at 5 o'clock to pick them up. Can they go back to their facility?
Nick, I swear they let anybody into the NAMM show these days, right?
Well, they're all artists now, apparently.
Right, air quote.
Yeah, if you've got Facebook and GarageBand, you're an artist. If you've got a CD burner, you're signed, buddy.
Heck yeah. Well, welcome to the party. Let's talk about the new line. I'm definitely seeing here, this is a little bit more digital than I'm used to from my stuff.
Yeah, this is our Code series. We launched it last year. We're coming out with the head, which is 100 watts, and the 2x12 combo, which is behind it, also 100 watts. We've already launched the 25 watt here, which is a 1x10, and the 50 watt, which is a 1x12. Now, they all have the same digital brain. And I don't want to say it's a digital amp, but it's not a modeling amp, because modeling's a dirty word to me. I can buy my kids a model plane with eyes and hands on it. That's a toy. These are replicants. We've worked with a company called Softtube, because one of Jim's credos was he hired guitar players to design the equipment and test it. Because if you want to get a good sound, say if you want to get a sound of, say, Metallica, for example, right. You don't buy Master of Puppets and play it through an oscilloscope and go, that's a sound. You have to hear and feel it. It's not a sine wave. There's more to it than that. So we have this company called Softtube who build all the stuff for Universal Audio, all their acclaimed plugins. So they're guitar playing lunatics who are digital experts. So we've combined our tonal expertise with theirs. So it's a guitar conglomeration. So we're late to the party. Is this making sense? Because I'm just making it up. We're late to the party, but the cool thing about being late to the party is Jim's credo was listen to people, what people want very carefully, and when you understand it, try and not just to meet their expectations, but to exceed them. So we've had a chance to speak to hundreds of, not hundreds, but tens of thousands of people from all different races, different styles, different levels, find out what they like about the current digital amps, more importantly what they don't like, and maybe most importantly of all, what they wish they had, and we've combined it all in these amps. So I'm going to quickly give you the gimcrack philosophy. So they all have 100 presets. You can overwrite all of them. They all have a screen so you can see what the preset's called.
You can overwrite any Okay.
Yeah, you can overwrite anything. It comes with 100. You can recreate your own. You can reset the amp. It's laid out exactly like a guitar amp. If you turn a knob, you know where it shows you on the screen where it came from. On some of these amps, if you want to add more gain, if the gain's on 0, which it can be because it's already saved, right. How can you add more gain when you don't know where it was in the first place? Same on some of these amps don't even have a middle control. You have to plug a computer in, which is a little bit like, that's like having a DeLorean engine in a smart car. Makes no freaking sense, I'm sorry.
A DeLorean engine in a smart car.
Well, yeah, it's hooking the laptop up to a $99 amp. Come on.
I like it.
So we've laid it out like a guitar amp. So we've got a stomp box section. A guitar setup is this: guitar, pedals, amp. An amp is a preamp where the little signal's made bigger. Then the effects loop where you put like the time-based like reverb and delay and modulation effects, chorus, phase, flange, yada yada. Then there's a power section, then there's a speaker or speakers. We've modeled each of those sections. So we have pedals, then we have 14 preamps, mainly Marshall, but we've got some other great ones, a few American ones, another English one which was great. Then we've got choruses and modulations in the effects loop, delays and reverbs in the effect loop. Then you can choose your power amp. So I can take the front end of, say, a Mesa and put it with the rear end of a Marshall, or I can take a Silver Jubilee and put it into the rear end of like an AC30-like amp. Then I can choose my speaker, of which we've got 8 combinations. So just between the preamps, the power amps, and the speakers, without adding any effects or turning any knobs, if you do the simple math, it's 448 possible plausible combinations. And if you need more than that, it's called rehab. Go there right now, because you have a problem. But the bottom line is...
If half 1,000 is not good enough, come on, man. Like, you gotta do better than that.
But talk is cheap, and so what I'd recommend you do is play the amp. Because I can tell you it's great. This is just me. I could just be BSing you.
Right.
My promise is plug in the amp with your guitar and mess with it for 10 minutes. I can't walk and chew gum. I can program this amp, so anyone can. You just turn knobs, and when it sounds good, you stop. But this is where it gets cool. If you look at the screen up there, it keeps showing a phone. We have an app called Marshall Gateway, which is free. You can download it from any app store.
That is right there, Marshall Gateway.
Right, yeah, it says connect, control, create. That's what the phone looks like. All of those controls, you can control the amp with your phone. So I can connect this to I can choose my preamp, my power amp. I can change all of the effect. I can change everything on my phone. So I can sit 10 feet from the amp, which is a better place to program.
Right.
Because if you're programming like this, the sound's going past you.
Oh, yeah.
So, and if I'm on stage, I can be where I am. As long as I'm Bluetooth to the amp, I can mess with it. I'd have to go, turn, come back, oh, too much, too little. And now if you're thinking, but what if some smart ass in the audience has got a smartphone and goes, aha, I can connect to his amp.
All right, maybe I am that smart ass that was just thinking that, because I kind of was.
Yeah, because so you're playing Pantera and they change it to a reggae sound.
I want my Yanni when I'm trying to rock out.
But here's where it's smart. You have to make the amp, you have to enable the amp for Bluetooth. So you can disable it, but once you're connected, no one else can connect. It's a one-way street.
It's a one-way street. You can become the master controller when you're the one person that links in through Bluetooth. You're the one person that's in.
Now the question is there someone smart enough to hack that? Probably, but if they're that smart, they should be hacking Bank of America and stealing money, not messing with some poor club band.
They should be Tyler Durden or something. They should be Edward Snowden. They shouldn't be in my little rock club in Topeka, Kansas.
And the other cool thing about the phone is there are two modes. There are phone mode and amp mode. So I can have all of my sounds on my phone. I can go to my friend's house, connect to his amp, and then play my sounds on his amp without overwriting his stuff.
So you already have your presets ready to rock and roll. You plug in, you tap it, and you're good to go. And then everything that you spent all that time in advance getting set up, it's so portable. You don't need to lug this into the back seat of your car, turning it sideways, sliding it through. You just bring your phone with you.
Yeah, so that's why we say connect, control, create. And those are human needs. So I can connect to it. It has the tuner's in there too. If I've got music on my phone, I can play it through and play along.
Right.
I can loop it. So that's the connection. I can control the amp because we've got egos. So we want to connect with people, then we want to control them. But we want them to like us so we can be creative with our phones too. So
any thoughts on the new election with the new transition team? There are a lot of analogies there. We do political shows too.
How about them Cowboys?
How about them Cowboys? I was rooting for Ezekiel Elliott as an Ohio State Buckeye fan. I was rooting for their running back. No, but it is very cool. I like how a lot of this stuff is starting to turn digital. The technology is becoming portable, lighter. It's just a much better way to consider how to take great technology in all of the decades previous, back to the 70s, 60s, 50s, and you take that and you can put it into something in the size of your, fits in the palm of your hand. It's a very new way of thinking about music and instruments.
Well, the bottom line is, this is just me personally speaking. Music, please be if you're a player, I don't care what you play. I don't play if you play EDM or death metal or Christian folk. Play what you like, goddammit. Be very selfish. Don't follow trends to try and become famous, because you're selling yourself short. You might not make it. So if you don't make it, there's nothing worse than looking back with anger going, well, I tried and I didn't even really like what I was doing. So play what you love, follow your bliss, and God bless you. Have fun with it, because that's what music is. It's spelled F-U-N-K. N, not the other two words.
No, let me tell you. There was Jim Carrey, the comedian and the actor. He did something at a college graduation one time, and blah blah blah. The whole story, and it leads up to the point where he says, "You can fail at what you don't like, so you might as well go for the thing that you like, and seek out that passion." Right?
Yeah. Follow your path. Make sure it's your path. Don't follow someone else's path. Be yourself by yourself, to quote Phil Anselmo. Get away from me. No.
Well, we had the pleasure of meeting Jim Marshall. We respect, all of the stuff that's happened in this company's history. That there's probably, maybe 20, 30 brands that are quintessential over the past 500 years.
Well, I would say
there's a few.
I would say, am I biased? Look up my arm and tell me.
He was very gracious when we met him. It was a wonderful moment.
There were 4.
Got the picture and the autograph and everything.
There are 4. A lot of people will tell you that 4 people changed the face of electric guitar, and those people are Jimi Hendrix, Eric Clapton, Jimmy Page, and Jeff Beck, and probably Pete Townsend as well. They were the ones that started it all. So it's 1 American and 4 English guys. I agree, but I disagree, because without the tools, they couldn't do anything. And the tools
created the right tool
by Leo Fender, may he rest in peace. Can you imagine a world without the Stratocaster, the Telecaster, the Bassman, the Twin, the P-Bass, or the Jazz Bass?
Right.
Les Paul. Not only did he invent the Les Paul, he was the first multi-track guy, a genius and a performer. Then you've got Seth Lover, who invented a guy who a lot of people ignore. He invented the humbucker. I'm sorry, a Jackson with single coils. Nah, that's not metal, dude. I'm sorry. You need the humbucker. And then, of course, there's Jim Marshall. What they did is they gave these great artists the paint and the canvas to create their magic.
Right. That's a good point.
So Jim's one of the 4 cornerstones. There have been lots of great people since. Paul Reed Smith, love the guy. A lot of great brands. But without Jim, Leo, Les, and Seth, we'd have nothing. We wouldn't be having this conversation. You'd be going, do you want that supersize, sir? And I'd be going, yes, please. And I'm going off to McDonald's now as well. So,
well, you give me an idea for like a T-shirt or something in the future. I'm seeing like a Mount Rushmore with these characters. You need to talk to your digital team and say, can you make me a Mount Rushmore of sound? Yeah. Because your guy would be right up there.
It's cool. Yeah, he would be, and quite rightfully so. So.
Anyway, where do we find more information about all this stuff? Give us all the places to check it out.
www.marshallamps.com. If you've got any questions, we have a portal you can ask questions, and your local dealer as well. And by the way, the only stupid question is the question you don't ask. So if you're thinking it, ask it. Have fun, guys.
I really like this guy because I ask stupid questions all day. Well, Nick, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Check out Marshall. What is it, Marshall? One more time on the website.
God, you're stupid.
MarshallAmps. God, you're stupid.gov. No, Marshall Amps.
Marshallamps, MARSHALLAMPS.com. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Nick.